everybody, happy Sunday. I hope that wherever you are and whatever you are doing, you are having a fantastic weekend. I'm filming this on a Tuesday because it is, well, it's going to be wet all week. We have a press car. There's a Kia EV9 sitting on the driveway right now, which we're going to be filming on Monday next week. Em gets it for a few days. I've had a little drive, but that's not why you're watching today. You are watching because you want to know about our chickens and the garden. And things are growing nicely right now. We've got some fruit starting to grow. I love seeing it. If you look here, some of these have little apples starting to grow on them, which is absolutely wonderful. Same with the cherries. I have to make sure, I have to hope that these cherries this year will actually grow. So it's lovely that we actually have cherries, but we do have some bad news. Namely, we have another frost warning. It's Tuesday evening. It is the very end of April, and overnight it will become May 1st. We have another frost warning. So I'm not sure how much of this is going to be happy in the morning, but I guess we'll find out. The temperature has dropped a lot. I have got bare arms right now and I'm feeling it. I really am feeling it. The chickens are feeling it too. They are running around the garden doing their best not to be inside chickens, even though I would rather that they were. So I'm going to have to try and figure out a way of covering up these potatoes tonight, and also these potatoes, because potatoes do not like cold weather. So these are going to be fine. These are my cauliflowers. Got some broccoli here and some broccoli here. They are doing great. But the potatoes, yeah, not sure about how I'm going to deal with that, but I guess we'll find out next week whether they survived. So over the weekend, which obviously was just a few days ago when I'm filming this, I actually came in and I put 3-4 wheelbarrows of soil on top of these potatoes because I was concerned about them. They were poking out of the ground so far. You have to keep heaping them up because otherwise you don't get very many potatoes, which is, it's normal. But the frost being this late, not so good. So over here, the parsnips are doing fantastic. And look, another potato. I'm not going to cover that potato up though. If that potato succumbs to the frost, then so be it. You know, potatoes that I've put in, I have a little bit more patience towards. Potatoes that are volunteers that are just growing just because, not so much. Anyway, the grass, as I predicted in last week's show, is growing incredibly quickly. And look at that little fellow. He literally jumped. He jumped into the water and then went, water, and then ran off. So everybody is feeling the cold right now, but the chickens are doing great. I'm going to actually go around here and open up the coop because it looks like all of my chickens, with the exception of Carolyn, have actually decided to go for a little adventure today. So I will be having words with them. I really do not want to clip their wings. I think it might have to happen. I could make a taller enclosure for them, but I know that they're just going to get out. They're kind of sneaky like that. And right now, we're not worrying too much about coyotes. So what you're going to do. Anyway, over here, not a lot's happened in the vegetable garden since I was last round with you. These strawberries, though, my goodness, I'm going to have so many strawberries this year. I'm just blown away at how well these are growing. Obviously, helping them stay weeded is helpful. Ditto with the onions and the carrots. Now, I know there are lots of weeds in here, but if I bring the camera down, you will see that I do have some carrots. I'm going to have to thin those carrots out in some way or another, because there are too many carrots and that is not necessarily a good thing. But over here we have some more strawberries. They're doing well. The raspberries are doing great. The coriander's doing great. The beans are doing great. The little rockety mustard leaves are doing great. I'm still not sure if we have beet yet, but if we do, we do. We definitely have some lettuces coming up, so I'm excited about that. And we also have dill. Dill is wonderful, and I'm very glad I've got dill this year because, as I'm about to explain, we have so many cucumbers growing. Also, check out the blueberry bushes. They're doing great. These guys are all doing great. Good job. Unfortunately, I did, as I mentioned last week, I've been planting a lot in the greenhouse. None of my plants have really started to grow in any way, shape or form in the greenhouse in large quantities. Certainly not the ones that I planted last week. But my cucumbers need to be potted up. Check out these. Please excuse the abutilon. The abutilon is unhappy. I don't know if it will survive. Look at those. These are all the different types of cucumbers I have. I'm very happy with how well they're growing. These guys here, that's Telegraph, I think. And then I've got, well, these are all different types of cucumbers. I'll need to read the labels properly. I think these are a pickling cucumber. These might be the pickling cucumber, lemon cucumber, and these are two different types of English cucumbers, because I do prefer my English cucumbers to my kind of American ones. The British ones, the English ones are thinner and tastier in my opinion, but then I'm biased. I would love to know if anybody recognises those fungi, whether I can eat them or not. I'm not going to unless someone tells me I can. Someone who proves they have the knowledge. Look at the tomatoes. Look at those. They are doing amazingly well. Tomatoes grow so fast. I'm very happy with those. None of these guys are doing a whole amount of stuff, but if we're going to have a cold frost tonight, you know what? I'm going to close this all up to keep them safe. On the other side, though, this is the true success story. This is the iceberg lettuce that I put in a couple of weeks ago that was half eaten. And now look at it. It's growing at an incredible rate. This is one I put in a few weeks earlier than that. It is growing incredibly well. I can't fault that, right? Fresh lettuce in my greenhouse. It cost me a couple of bucks from the local supermarket. You know what? I think I'm going to do the same thing next year. So I'm very curious if any of you have done that same thing and bought a living cucumber, what you did and how you kept it safe. It is now raining again, because of course it is, but that's okay. We can survive rain, but I'm not going to go out in the rain because this camera was misbehaving last week when we recorded our Sunday musing. But anyway, so this is everything that's going on in the garden. I will be, of course, putting some straw around the potatoes later. And I need to figure out how to get rid of all of this stuff, because all of this stuff is going to need to go in the ground. Oh, I should note, I have one pepper growing under there right now. One of my peppers has popped up, but because it's suddenly got much, much colder, I'm not going to open up that to show you, because temperatures are cold and we need to keep things warm, certainly for the next day or two. I feel like, and I was talking to my mum earlier this week, and she was saying exactly the same thing. You know, the temperatures keeps getting warm and then it gets cold again, and then it gets warm and then it gets cold again. And she said it feels like we're behind, but she said historically, actually, we're still ahead. So if you look back 20, 30, 40 years, you would never have put in stuff in the ground in the kind of location that I live and the kind of location she lives. At least that's the way she was telling it. And she said it feels like, you know, we've got so used to putting in plants early. The fact that we have a frost in early May is not that unusual. And thinking about it, this time last year, I was in the UK visiting my mum and also doing some filming over there with WAE Technologies. And the same thing, we actually had a snowstorm here at the house while I was in the UK that wiped out our power. That's how cold it got. Hopefully this week we're not going to get that cold, but it does kind of reiterate the point that you have to listen to the weather, not just what the calendar says. You have to wait until the weather tells you, okay, I'm done with winter, we're ready to start growing things. And if that's not happening yet, and you can see how windy this is right now, all that wind is pushing really, really hard on this greenhouse. So it's a cold wind. It's coming from the northwest, and it will knock those temperatures down pretty expeditiously. So I think both myself and the chickens are going to want to have a warm evening. The chickens have not jumped into the coop yet, so I'm going to go and find the chickens and put them to bed. I also need to give them some fresh food because they're pretty much out of food. So I will do that, and as usual, I'll see you next week. And don't forget to tell me what's going on in your garden. Thanks for joining me today, and if you've got thoughts, make sure you leave them below in our Discord chat room, or you can reach out to us on Mastodon. Thanks to the amazing list of people scrolling by on your screen right now. They are some of the more than 1,500 people that help make this channel possible by funding it through Patreon and YouTube, covering our bills, paying our team, and making sure we can be 100% independent. If you'd like to join them and see your name listed here, just follow the links below. There are a range of different tiers you can sign up for, from as little as $1 a month, or if you pay yearly, $10.08 a year. A massive welcome to our newest supporters, Ralph Koenig, Mr. Eldritch, Dwayne Adiger, and Corey Singletray. To join our list and get your shout out, become a paid Patreon member for your week of fame. If you'd like to support us with a one-off donation, you'll also find links below to make Ko-fi and Bitcoin donations, and we even have an old-fashioned PO box you can reach us at. The address is listed below. And of course, if you're in need of some swag, you'll find our swag store link in the down below as well. This month, we are celebrating Wrangling EV FUD with a fantastic t-shirt design by our in-house artist and animator, Erin. Get yours today by heading to our Redbubble store. We've got some great content coming up, so make sure you're subscribed on PeerTube or YouTube, and we'll see you soon. We make new videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If you want more, the mighty algorithm thinks you'll like this video, but we also think that this one is well worth a look. See you soon, and as always, keep evolving!